Alright guys, Bludger Boy here to bring you some more Ratchet Clank. Now I'm not actually playing the game at the moment because this... I think I mentioned this in the Ratchet Clank HD video I released. This was the episode where I recorded the video and I recorded commentary with the video, but the commentary sucked and I didn't like it, so I basically wanted to replace the commentary with something else, which you should be hearing right now. And what I was originally going to do was play something else and put whatever I was playing at the time of recording the commentary and Ratchet Clank on the screen at once, because I thought I'd be just really bored just talking over the top of watching myself play the game, because I'm watching it on my TV right now. But what happened was it was just really hard to concentrate, so I think I'll just watch the video rather than try to play something else from recorded on top of that again. Because I think I tried to play Mario Party 2, but that didn't go very well. I stopped that after 10 minutes, it just didn't seem very interesting. And then I tried to play Perfect Dark, which is like a first-person shooter. That, I thought, that was like my second choice, because I thought it'd be too hard to play, because I'd have to concentrate too much. And I was right, because I could hardly fucking talk while I was playing that thing. So, just Ratchet Clank it is. God, looking at it, it's just insane looking at it and going, wow, it's not in HD. It's like, this is, not only is it in standard definition, but it's like DVD recorder quality, like, ugh. God, it looks awful. Oh well, doesn't look that bad. And it's still Ratchet and Clank, so I mean, it's awesome by default. You can't really argue with that. I actually beat Ratchet and Clank, like the first and second Ratchet and Clank in the HD trilogy. I haven't started the third one yet, because I want to work on some projects before I do that. So I haven't touched the third one yet. I have played the online multiplayer in the third one though a few times. It is the buggiest shit, not necessarily the gameplay. It's the thing with this HD collection. A lot of the bugs I've been noticing in it are... That was fail. The reason I'm jumping is because you, there's, like, piranhas and stuff in the water, so if you stay in the water for too long, they'll get you. I don't know how I survived that. That was horrible. Anyway, a lot of the bugs and glitches and problems I was noticing in the HD collection, and there are a few, they're all in, like, the heads-up display and the menus and the silly little things like that. Almost none of them are in the actual gameplay. There's a few presentation glitches. There's nothing really that bad as far as glitches go. It's irritating how they got certain things fucked up. Like they got the music looping wrong. Because I've got the whole soundtrack in iTunes from someone who like recorded them in the game. Like they just set the sound effects to 0 and recorded the music. They recorded two and a bit loops worth, because the music loops seamlessly, right? It has a start point and an end point, but if you just started playing and you didn't hear the start point, you wouldn't know where the start point was. It loops seamlessly on the PS2 versions. In the PS3 version, in the HD trilogy, they don't loop seamlessly. What seems to happen is, like, they'll start playing, they'll play just fine, they'll get all the way to the end of the audio file, they'll start to loop for about 5 seconds, then it'll just jump back to the beginning of the file again, and start playing from there, and then it'll play all the way to the end, it'll play a little bit more. It's just really strange, like, it like plays 105% of the file, then decides to loop it, rather than playing just 100% of the file. Plays the whole file, then it plays a little, like a few seconds more, then it decides to start the file again. Like, it's just really weird. I don't know if they did that to accommodate some glitch they had with the music looping earlier, but I mean, this is looping an audio file. Looping an audio file. This shit ain't hard, man. I don't know. From what I can sort of make of it myself, the It might be trouble with the disc reading fast enough. Like because I'm assuming it's getting the audio off the, well, it has to be getting the audio off the Blu-ray disc, because there's no install space. There's no install file for the game, so it's got to be getting all the files off the Blu-ray disc while it plays. And when it loops, you can kind of hear the disc reader just kind of make a funny, not a funny noise, but like a noise like it's trying to read the disc. So I'm assuming it's like file access delay, like it can't immediately get access to the file, so it kind of stagnates and fucks up. Either that or the audio files themselves are messed up, and the audio files themselves actually contain the song played once, and then they have that few seconds at the end of the audio file itself, and then in the game's looping them properly, but the files themselves are screwed, if that made any sense. I don't know, it's those little things, and like the oxygen bar, or the bar for the suck cannon, when they go to the side of the screen, they kind of stay there. That one we actually saw in the video, and I mentioned it. It was really weird. And tension hall bubbles or something like that, I said. Yeah, really little things like that. And people mentioned things like in Ratchet Clank 2 and Ratchet Clank 3, his helmet kind of floats above his head. But you can hardly notice that shit unless you're watching a cutscene. It does look really weird though. You know. My only gripe with shit like that, and I mean, it's a remake. I've done basic programming before. I know that even the simplest things, sometimes it can be hard to get to work. But my gripe is that they were working in the fucking first place, so why don't they work now? Especially with shit as simple as audio files looping. Like, that's not complicated. Almost every game I've ever played does that, right? Like, you know. It's just very strange. But yeah, apart from that, like, it's fine. I think I mentioned that the Ratchet Clank 3 multiplayer, that was really hard to get into. And as I said, it's not the gameplay itself that's buggy, it's the menu. I don't know how many times I tried to get online and the game would freeze while I was trying to connect. Like, the PS3 would lock up completely. I couldn't get to the cross-media bar, I couldn't get to anything. Once you got in the game, works fucking perfectly. It works perfectly fine. I had no disconnections, I had no real lag, I had nothing, it was fun. There's not too many people online, unfortunately, and I'm not sure if the game is region locked. Like, I don't know if I can play with Europeans, because the game's out in Europe. I don't know if I can play with Europeans or not, because I found it really hard to find a match as well. I hate matchmaking, I prefer to just go through a server list. That's just how I like to do it. Even if there's only like 1 or 2 servers, I don't give a fuck, I like having a server list. And it doesn't matter whether I try to use the find a game thing or the matchmaking thing. It was just impossible to find a game. It's just really, really annoying. And for some reason they have this weird thing. Anyone who's played the game will know what I'm talking about. They have this weird thing called cities. It's kind of like splitting the servers up into like smaller groups. I don't know why that is though. I can't figure out why that is. Like, it's not like there are any restrictions or anything. Like, all the cities are identical apart from the people that are in them. They're not geographically split or anything, from what I can decipher. They're not. There's no pattern I can kind of detect, and you can pick whatever city you want to go to. All the same gameplay, all the same game types are available, all the same settings are available. It's not like a difficulty or a ranking thing. It's just really, really strange. And I don't know why they have it. I can't figure it out. Why wouldn't you just put all the games in one big list so I can join whatever game I want? Just don't understand. But it was kind of fun, because I mean, when I had the PS2 version, because I didn't have broadband until 2000 or 2008, and you know, I got the game in 2004 or 2005 or something. I always wanted to play the game online, because I never had. And it was pretty fun. The problem is it's kind of dated compared to, say, like GTA 4, which I play online quite a bit, or any other real game you would play online now. Like it's kind of dated the way they deal with it, and because it's directly ported. Nothing is changed, apart from the fact that it uses the PSN. It's pretty much left intact, which is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. Yeah, it seems a little bit dated, but it was still fun. It was still enjoyable. I still want to get into like a deathmatch game mode though, because the main game mode is Siege, which is like capture the base kind of thing, and you deal with nodes and things like that. Not the best thing to play when you have no communication and things like that. I prefer just simple deathmatch type of games where I've got no headset to communicate to people with, and I can't really actually work as a team with these people. This is what I prefer. But still, playing with 8 people online is still fun. From the small experience I've had with it, I haven't played it that much. Yeah, I've been playing Ratchet Clank 1 and 2 mostly. Big difference compared to what you're seeing on screen now. Even with the graphical anomalies and things. That's another problem I had with... I think it was Ratchet and Clank... No, it was all of them, really. I've had sort of little graphical bugs that don't seem to make any sense. Like, if you've seen the cutscene... You would have noticed this in the video, and I did not pick up on this in the HD video that I made. This was on screen when I was playing the game, and if you go back and watch it, you will see this. If you watch the cutscene where Big Al is trying to sell... well, not trying to sell, but is talking about the helipack to Ratchet before he buys it. Just look at Big Al. I'm not going to say anything else. Just look at Big Al. It's fucked up. It's just really weird. I don't know how things like that slip past quality assurance. I got no idea. But anyway, enough ranting on about that. It's still a good collection. It was worth... Didn't actually spend any money on it, because I used a gift card to get it. I haven't spent any money on games since January of 2011. The last thing I actually bought with money, game-wise, was Little Big Planet 2. And that was worth every cent, most certainly. Everything else I've either bought with vouchers or got for free or bought off eBay. So technically not the last time I spent money on a game, but the last time I spent money on a game in a game store. Because all the N64 games I have are bought off eBay. I swear I've bought so much shit for the N64. Like I mean, the machine itself came with 3 controllers and about 9 games. 5 of them of which I'm going to keep, 4 of them of which I want to sell, because I just don't like them. Not my kind of thing. That cost about 150 bucks. I bought a 4th controller, which cost $30 and had a shitty analog stick. I bought 2 sets of replacement analog sticks. 8 replacement analog sticks. They were about 110 in total, $110. The first batch were like GameCube style, and they worked fine, but the accuracy on them was really fucked up. They were really oversensitive. They had a dead zone of about 20%. For those of you who don't know what like a dead zone is, if you move the analog stick like a little tiny, like I'm talking about a little tiny incy wincy bit, it won't do anything, yeah? That's because the analog sticks tend to get a little loose, and you don't want it reacting to every single stupid little tiny movement like that, because your game will just be out of control, basically. So you want the controller to only pick up forced movements from your thumb, not every little stupid nudge that it makes when the wind touches it. So they have a dead zone. Dead zone's usually around 5 to 10%. On the N64 controllers, it's around 5%. It's pretty low on the actual analog sticks. On the replacement ones, it was about 20. So you had to move it 1/5 of the way out towards the edge for it to pick up anything. That's to get the slightest movement at all. And when you're trying to tiptoe across gaps and shit, with an analog stick that small, because anyone who's used an N64 will know how small the analog stick is compared to like the PS2 or the Xbox 360, it's hard. And the maximum range for it, like, as in when you press an analog stick to the edge of the thing, on the old stick, you basically had full range on the original N64 sticks. If you push the thing all the way to the edge, it'll detect like 100% you've pushed it all the way to the edge. Hard to explain. I'm trying to explain it better because I'm not making much sense. To get for the N64 to pick up that you are pushing the stick 100% to the edge of the range, on the actual stick you have to push it all the way. That's normal. On these new sticks, you push it 80% of the way to the end, it thinks you're pushing it all the way. So on the original N64 stick, you had about 90 to 95% range and control of movement, 95% precision of movement, which is pretty good. On these new sticks, you have about 60%. The 60% that's in the middle. So you can imagine how sensitive that is if you have to push it 28% of the way in for it to get any movement, and by the time you've pushed it 80% of the way to the edge, it already thinks you're at the edge. Really sensitive bastards, and they just weren't very good. So that was $60 wasted. Although I did get a free Yoshi figurine with them, because I bought 4 of them. So I effectively spent $60 on a Yoshi figurine. Then I had to buy more analog sticks for them, which were like actual original N64 style analog sticks. These were a lot better and work somewhat properly. So that was another $50. So that's $60 for the sticks that didn't work, $50 for the ones that did, $150 for the console. That's for what? $260 already. I've bought... What games have I bought for this thing? GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong 64, Super Mario 64, Mario Party 2, the new Tetris, Banjo-Kazooie, Mario Tennis. That's 8 games. 50, 100, 150, 170, 200, 230, probably about 250 all up on games. 250 plus 2, that's over $500 I've spent on this fucking thing. Yet I love it, and every cent's worth it. That's not to mention, though, I've also tried to buy cables for it, like video cables, because I mean I like to get the highest video quality possible, and for my PS3 I use a HDMI cable, for my PS2 I use a component cable, I'd use a composite cable to record all this stuff because of the DVD recorder, but if I can, I use the component cable. And they're really high quality video compared to composite. Composite looks god awful compared to that. Now for the N64, which was released in like what 1996, you're not going to get much better than composite, but you can get what they call an S-video cable. An S-video cable is big step up from composite. Not quite component video quality, but definitely better than composite. Way better than composite. Anyone who has S-video will tell you that. It's basically the same as a composite video connection, except you replace that little yellow cable with a round cable that has multiple pins in it, and it splits the signal up into two channels of some kind, Luma and something else, I don't quite know. I'll have to put that on the screen in an annotation or something. Actually, my computer is on, I might as well just look it up. Because I'm not playing the game, so I can. Let's see if I can find this. Wikipedia. S-video. Analog transmission scheme. Oh yeah, in which video information is encoded on two channels, Luma or luminance and chroma. That's the one. So it splits it up into two channels, and that way it can not just because it splits it up into two channels, but it basically provides for a higher quality signal because it handles that information separately rather than squishing it all into one signal. So I tried to get one of those, and you think it would just be as simple as going onto eBay and buying one of these things, but for whatever reason, the N64 is not only region locked in terms of games, but they even changed the video hardware and the video cables for the PAL consoles. If I had an NTSC console, like if I lived in like America or Japan, I could just go on eBay, buy an S-video cable and be done with it. But the end that you plug into the N64, it's different in PAL areas. They have to modify the interior and the inner workings of that part of the cable with resistors and things like that, from what I've read on modding sites and whatever else, to get the proper picture. Because I did buy an S-video cable just off eBay. I plugged it into the N64 and plugged it into the TV, and I got a signal. But it was really bright, and it had scan lines on it. It was awful. I'm like, what the hell? So I went into the internet, and apparently the PAL consoles don't handle S-video the same way. And they don't work with American cables. I'm like, wow, okay. And the cable I got was like one of those multi-out ones. It had the console plug for the PS2 and the Xbox as well. I plugged it into my PS2 and plugged it into the TV. Looked great. There were no problems with it, so it was a problem with the N64. I'm like, what in the fuck? So okay, I have to find a PAL S-video cable? Where the hell am I supposed to find one of those? And I searched around on Google and the internet, just trying to find a place, and there was one place that sold them. This site called consolegoods.co.uk, and they had them. These modified S-video cables that would work on PAL machines, and they had customer feedback that had people saying that they worked and that they looked great. They didn't have the same problems that they did with the NTSC cables. So I'm like, alright, I'll get one of those. So I ordered one, and this is in the UK, and I live in Australia, so these things take fucking weeks to get here, and the postage is through the roof for sending it that far away, yeah? It costs like $15 for the cable, and an extra $10 to get it sent over. Something like that. It costs $25 to $30 just to have this thing sent over. This is a cable, by the way. A cable. Modified cable, but it's still a cable. It gets over here. It's got all the right connectors on it. I hook it up, and the signal doesn't come through at all. I'm jiggling the cable around, trying to figure out what the fuck's wrong with it. The signal comes through intermittently, and when the picture does come through, it looks great, it looks awesome. But for whatever reason, the signal comes through like less than 1% of the time, and I can hardly get the cable to work. And I'm pretty sure this the wiring in it is just frayed or something, because when you get the signal, it works fine. Looks great. But that's never. So I'm like, okay, I had to email the guy and say, look, this one doesn't work, I need a new one. Sending it back to him would cost just as much as it would to buy a new one. For some reason, it cost him $10 to send it over here. It cost me $30 to send it back. Fuck you, Australia Post. So I got a new one. Sent to me. I plug it in. Signal comes on the TV. In black and white. I'm like swearing at the TV, and I'm just going, what the fuck? Fucking bullshit. Fuck you, Nintendo! I'm just swearing for at least 5 minutes in this thing. Why is it coming through in black and white? What is the deal? Is the chroma or the luma not coming through? I don't know. I just don't see how that works. I get an NTSC cable and an American cable. I get a signal that comes on the screen completely, but it looks all fuzzy and comes through too bright and has scan lines on it. I get a PAL cable where the signal hardly works. I get another PAL cable where it comes through in black and white. Why the fuck can't I get this to work? It's a cable! It's wiring! It's wiring surrounded by sheath. How is this complicated? Fuck, man. It was ridiculous. So I've effectively spent about 50 to 60 bucks on cables that don't work. Or not 50 to 60, 40 to 50. Still a lot of money for 2 cables that don't do anything. Oh, that just pisses me off so much. Because, I mean, I'm used to playing them on the emulator, which is on the computer, where I'm using like an RGB or a DVI cable. Picture's perfect. You know, as good as an emulator's going to get. Like, it looks incredible. There's no filtering, there's no compression, there's nothing. Or hardly any that you can actually notice compared to composite. Holy shit. And playing shooter games on a composite connection is impossible. Like, you can't see 10 feet ahead of you. It's ridiculous. It's like you're wearing misty goggles or something. So yeah, basically I just waste money on Nintendo shit. Eventually my bank account will dwindle to 0, and I will have 20 S-video cables that do absolutely nothing. I think my time's up. I think the video just ended itself, so hope you enjoyed my ranting on whatever the hell I was talking about. And I'll catch you guys later.